Hello everybody, hope you are doing well. Welcome to this video where you will learn about the 5 domains of educational technology. Also, we will break them out to discuss their subdomains that my teamwork and I have identified. So let's get started. First of all, we will begin with a brief definition about educational technology. What is educational technology? Well, we were investigating and looking for the most suitable definition. And we found this one that defines and describes what educational technology is. According to Dr. Sarah Cart, educational technology is a field of study that investigates the process of analyzing, designing, developing, implementing, and evaluating the instructional environment and learning materials in order to improve teaching and learning. It is really important to keep in mind that the purpose of educational technology, also referred to as instructional technology, is to improve education. So we must define the goals and needs of education first, and then we use all our knowledge, including technology, to design the most effective learning environment for students. As you can see here, we have a circle where you find the 5 domains, which are design, development, utilization, management, and evaluation. If you notice, they are repetitive, but why they are repetitive? Well, because you are going to put into practice each of them in every single planification you create or in every single lesson you develop. So let's go over the first domain, which is design. We're going to describe design as establishing a framework to guide in planning the educational technology. In this space, you have to develop the curricula to be implemented and plan how long it will take to finish the program. Now let's move to the subdomains of design. We have instructional systems design, message design, instructional strategies, and learner characteristics. Let's see the first one. We have instructional system design. Includes the steps of analyzing what to be learned, developing the instructional materials, implementing is using the materials and strategies in reality, and evaluating is the process of determining the adequacy of instruction. If you notice, instructional system design seems to include all the domains, but actually design focuses on all the parts of how planning works. Now, next one is message design. Messages are patterns of signs or symbols that modify cognitive, affective, or psychomotor behavior. For example, symbols, typefaces, visual, textbook pages, and web pages. Then we have instructional design. Instructional strategies are a specification for selecting activities within a lesson. It is basically based on the learning situation, learning environment, learning task, and learner. Finally, we have learner characteristics. As you know, each student has different experiences and qualities that impact their learning process. That's why we as teachers need to look for the best strategies for the best activities to fit on their needs. Now let's see the second domain.
Now we are going to talk about the second domain, that is development, and it is defined as the process of authoring and producing the materials needed to meet the objectives designed in the previous domain. So that means that here we talk about the production of materials that will help in a student's learning process. In this domain, we can notice that the strategies design are translated into physical instructional product and process of materials and deliver methods such as assessment items and instructor information that includes hardware, software, visual, and auditory materials that amplify students' knowledge related to technology. This domain is represented into 4 subcategories. The first one is print media, that represents print and visual materials, including books, photographs, and graphics, which are the most basic ways of producing and delivering instructional materials. Second, we have audiovisual media that is mostly related to the use of mechanical and electronic machines to present auditory and visual methods. Here we can use TV, films, images, video, etc. Third, we have electronic media. Here, the information is delivered to students by utilizing computer-based technology, such as computer-based instruction, computer-based training, and computer-aided instruction. So, students are asked to use technology as an essential part in their learning process. And the last one is integrated media. That refers to the combination of the 3 types of media. So, we will say that it increases learners' ability to use the content of the lesson and how learners interact with computers and access to various resources. As a result, we will say that those were the most important parts that involve the development domain, in which we could notice that development is the product or physical form of the design process.
So now we will be talking about the third domain, which is utilization. When we talk about this domain, we are referring to the usage and implementation of the learning materials that are going to enhance students' knowledge and learning skill. In other words, utilization is the act of using processes and resources for learning. Therefore, it is the phase in which students act upon their learning by using the activities and material teachers have stipulated them to work on. Also, we must mention that this domain has surprised all 4 members of our team, for we have now learned that teachers engaged in utilization are responsible for matching learners with specific materials and activities, preparing learners for interacting with the selected materials and activities, being students' guidance during interaction, and incorporating this usage into the continuing procedures of the organization. So, before moving on, we will now list the subcategories or the subdomains of this third domain that are: number 1, media utilization; number 2, diffusion of innovations; number 3, implementation and institutionalization; and number 4, policies and regulations. These subcategories give clearer instruction as to how utilization works and what it involves. For in this phase, instruction is introduced to the learners and their organization. Hence, the goal of the utilization phase of instructional technology is to facilitate the implementation, acceptance, and adoption of the instruction, as it is stated by the Association for Educational Communications and Technology 2001. The fourth domain is management. When we talk about this domain, we must keep in mind that when it is applied to our teaching, we are going to see its effect on the outcomes of our students' learning. Moreover, management surges when all the domains come together in this specific phase to work as a team, giving the teacher a clearer view or a clearer idea of how things should be held and guided. In other instances, we can see that instructional technologists are often called upon to manage various programs, projects, and settings, which may differ greatly, but the basic skills necessary to manage remain constant for these technologists. These skills include planning and organizing programs, supervising personnel, planning and administering budget and facilities, coordinating policies and procedures, and providing leadership. And to finish up with this fourth domain, I will provide the 4 subcategories or subdomains of management that are especially important in instructional technology. Number 1, project management. Number 2, resource management. Number 3, delivery system management. And number 4, information management.
And finally, we're going to finish with the last domain, which is evaluation. In essence, evaluation refers to many activities in the instructional system design process where information or feedback is obtained in order to maximize the effectiveness of instruction. Instructional technologists utilize many evaluation tools such as observation, surveys, interviews, testing, data, etc., depending on the specific situation and information needs. The subdomains of evaluation are: number 1, needs analysis. Needs analysis or assessment is defined as the systematic study of a problem or innovation, incorporating data and opinions from varied sources in order to make effective decisions or recommendations about what should happen next. Number 2, criterion referenced measurement. Criterion referenced measurement involves techniques for determining learning mastery of pre-specified content. The individual's performance is measured against a standard or criteria rather than against performance of others who take the same test. Number 3, formative evaluation. Formative evaluation is the gathering of information on the adequacy of instruction and then using that information as the basis for further development. It refers to the trial feedback revision cycle utilized to maximize effectiveness of the instructional materials and methods during the design and development phases of instructional system design. And finally, we have summative evaluation. Contrary to formative evaluation, which is an in-process step, summative evaluation is a post-instruction step which seeks to answer the question: did the instruction meet the desired performance goals outlined in the needs analysis? The up-from needs analysis includes the desired performance goals and the manner in which they will be measured. Summative evaluation is the process of conducting those measurements, analyzing results, and reporting outcomes. Various methods can be utilized by instructional technologists or by independent subject matter experts where independent opinions are needed. Throughout this presentation, we discovered the 5 domains of educational technology. We learned that we start by establishing a framework to guide in planning the educational technology. Then we use the design of our framework to consequently implement and use the learning materials to enhance knowledge and skills of learners. And finally, we monitor, assess, and give judgment on the extent of usefulness of learning materials in achieving the expected outcomes. These 5 domains help the teacher to build tasks since they have a better idea of how to manage the content and resources for students and how to evaluate if these tools worked or not. In addition, we as teachers can use educational technology to support both teaching and learning by infusing the classroom with available digital tools, expanding course offerings, increasing students' engagement and accelerating learning. Moreover, instructional technology impacts positively in the students and teachers, since it provides better capabilities for gathering or providing feedback compared with more traditional methods. Through the learning of these five domains, teachers have better understanding of how to build macro and micro lesson plans in online courses, since they can be a useful tool at every level of education. Online learning provides access to a wider array of topics, giving students opportunities to enrich their education. So once teachers know about the domains, the development on online courses should be better. We as a team agreed that with the investigation of this topic, we will be able to build better classes and implement these domains in the future.